Starting, and we are live. Welcome everybody to the TBC Direct E3 2017 edition. Glenn, you snuck in right under the wire. Welcome.
You just made it.
Yeah, sorry about that. I forgot that.
Oh, no.
Hang on, I got the audio
Okay,
playing in the other window. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, as I was saying,
I think I made an amateur mistake. Are we good now?
I think we're good.
I forgot that Firefox doesn't cooperate with, or Hangouts doesn't cooperate with Firefox anymore. So thanks, Google. I wonder why they did that.
I like how I reminded you guys before we started to pause the live video, and then I had it playing. That was awesome. All right, let me introduce you guys. So Glenn in the Mario hat. Welcome. You are one of our premier bloggers and blog editors. How's it going?
It's going well. I am operating on less sleep than I would like, so I apologize if I seem a little spaced out.
No worries. That's probably the case for a lot of Nintendo fans right now. We have Eric, our newest crew member and streamer. How are you doing?
Hey, everybody. How's it going? Yep, here to stream
Matt.
whenever I find the time, and that should open up a lot soon. So expect whatever Nintendo game's coming out. A lot of Splatoon. That's going to be a thing
ARMS
for sure.
Look
And
forward to
ARMS this weekend.
And we have Matt, who enjoys blogging and getting married. How's it going, Matt?
It's going pretty well. Very busy, so I'm glad I could make it on tonight. A lot of good stuff to talk about.
Just did bachelor party, and you're about to go away and become one with your bride?
Yes. Bachelor party last Saturday. Wedding is next Saturday, and then the Monday after that, flying out to Hawaii. So,
well, we'll miss you. This will be a good last hurrah, everybody. All right, welcome to Blue Arrow in the chat. So we're going to get into discussing Nintendo's E3 2017 announcements and stream and new games. First of all, what were your expectations going in this year, and how happy are you now after the fact? You might have seen the recap video I did with Simeon yesterday. I kind of had lower expectations because of only 25-minute running time. I felt like, man, why is it so short? Do they not have enough good stuff? But really, they packed those minutes and gave us a lot of awesome trailers and surprises, and they tricked us, said it would be 2017 announcements, and showed us a lot of 2018 content. And with Metroid and Double Metroid, I'm pretty much as happy as can be. What about you guys, starting with Glenn?
Me? I'm very happy with what they revealed. I think the actual presentation, the video presentation where they showed all the Switch stuff was not as good as it could have been, but that was because they were holding back content for the Treehouse stuff. I think the overall presentation, yeah, my wallet is weeping. But yeah, especially Mario. That honestly, this game is shaping up to be more creative than I could have imagined.
Matt, what about you?
Yeah, kind of the same way. I feel pretty happy about what was there. Basically, the Double Metroid kind of makes it for me. Just that alone, in my opinion, makes it a really good E3. And I like Glenn said, Odyssey looks really good. I can't wait for that to come out. And I'm really happy with the release date for that too. I think it's October 27. So we get to play it.
You have a release date. I didn't know that.
Yeah, October 27, I think. So,
yeah, Friday, October 27th.
Yeah.
That was a super welcome surprise because I totally suspected November, Nintendo's usual suspect slot, the Friday before Black Friday. But it's coming early, and that kind of reminds me of how we got the Switch earlier than we expected, because when they just said March, everyone kind of thought, okay, they're going to put it as late in March as they can, but these kind of earlier release dates are really nice. Shout out to Sparkling Cyanide, a patron viewing in the chat, and Eric. How are you feeling?
Well, I mean, that release date's got me real hype. But I came into it with pretty minimal expectations. Same here. Expecting nothing. Nintendo, I just feel like most years it's been a little bit lackluster. The amount of content that I'm getting is never what I really want. But I don't know how I could maybe be any more hype this year. I mean, we have Metroid 4 coming out. We're going to get, I think the biggest to me, we're going to get a canon Pokemon game on the Switch. That is huge for me. Like they could just say that alone and I would be sold. So like I'm flying high right now. The only things that I'm worried about coming into this is they don't have any mentions of this whole online system that they're going to try and sell to us. So who knows? Who knows what's to come?
Yeah, no news isn't necessarily bad news because the online system got delayed, and so now we get free multiplayer for longer. So that's fine by me.
Yeah, they'll most likely have a direct or something later. They just didn't want to use any E3 time.
You mentioned Pokemon, which made me think we had that Pokemon direct, what, 2 days or a week before E3 or something like that? And it was only 8 minutes. It's kind of strange that they broke up those announcements. Pokemon for Switch wasn't in the Pokemon Direct. Why didn't they just have the whole Pokemon 8-minute segment be a part of E3? Clearly they had a lot of announcements and stuff. They also didn't touch on Metroid Samus Returns until after the main presentation.
Yeah, well, the main presentation was only Switch games, I think. So that may have been why.
Yeah.
Yeah, all Switch. All Switch. But I think they got to save that hype. I mean, I think they know it's been pushing Nintendo fans' buttons for so long, and it sounds like they want to give it to us. Like, finally, after waiting years, they want to give us everything we've asked for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except
maybe
F-Zero and
Nintendo
fans.
Maybe F-Zero will be next.
Yeah.
I feel like Nintendo spoils me, honestly, because after the conference I was like, well, what about Pikmin, or what about Animal Crossing? I really wanted those, and they're
releasing it's like a Game Boy Pikmin, right?
Yeah.
I saw a statement from Miyamoto just like an hour ago that Pikmin 4 is progressing.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, so Pikmin 4 is not the one for 3DS. Just so we're clear, because no one seems to have a straight answer for me when I ask them. Is like, do we have any evidence to say that that isn't just the 3DS game?
I asked Miyamoto for you, and he said it's a different game. So
wow, thanks, God.
Anytime.
Cleared the air there.
Yeah, a lot of people in the chat happy, saying that Nintendo's stronger than they have been before, and I agree. I think that they're still supporting 3DS with a few key titles, but I think a lot of their developers are moving over to Switch, and we're getting a very steady pace of software, and not just any software, but good franchise care for things that their most hardcore fans are excited about. So yeah, I totally agree. Seems like we're getting a big Nintendo game every month and a half, 2 months.
It's just long enough.
Yeah, and I don't know if you remember this, Eric, but on Saturday at my bachelor party, we were talking about E3, and you were like, well, what will make it good for you? And I said Metroid.
Yeah, so I didn't believe you. I didn't believe anybody.
Everyone was like, wow, you're full of it. That's not going to happen. And hey, look what happened.
Every year, someone's like, they're going to make a new Metroid. Like, no, we've been saying that for 3 years. And they finally done it.
I cannot believe that the Metroid Prime series returned, because it's been a decade, and that's kind of crazy for Nintendo to revisit a series and pick it up where it left off after it's been so long.
Yeah, I thought we were never going to see that again, for sure. I had no hope for that. So, but I'm really glad they went back to it, because it's a fantastic series.
Yeah.
Shout out to Paul real quick. Go ahead, Glenn.
While we're on the subject of Metroid, I do have one complaint, and don't get me wrong, I'm excited for both games, okay? But why aren't we getting Metroid 5? Just, what happens after Fusion? That ending has so many implications for like where the series is going to go after that, and there are all these unanswered questions, and it stops. they've just kept us in limbo. It's like the franchise. There's just this unwritten rule where there's a brick wall, and don't go past that.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Well, maybe in 2025 we'll figure that out.
Well, it sounds like we're talking about Metroid. So Prime 4 was a huge surprise to me. And then Samus Returns was even more of a surprise. Funny story, I wrote a blog that goes live on Sunday. And I was criticizing Nintendo for the reasons that they cite for not creating some sequels. And I called them out for 2D Metroid specifically, so I think I'm going to have to go and edit that blog. But yeah, it's kind of interesting that we're getting a 3DS game. But I'm kind of happy about it because after the Switch, I was like, I don't know if I want to play 3DS games anymore. But I'm really warming up to it. It looks really good. I even pre-ordered the dual pack of Amiibo today. And I'm not a big Amiibo collector, but
you can order the Metroid. You can pre-order that. Where?
Yes.
Where?
Best Buy.
Okay.
Nice.
Good.
Yeah, that
Got
Metroid
two monitors. I'm just gonna.
that Metroid Amiibo is sweet.
Yeah.
Squishy.
It looks really Yeah,
so I got the 2-pack. It was like $22, I think, after Gamers Club Unlocked. So, are you guys bigger fans of like 3D or 2D Metroid?
2D.
Ooh.
that's a tough question.
I personally, and maybe it's because I played it as a kid, and I still don't know how I beat like Metroid Prime as like an 11-year-old, but I found the Metroid Prime series, just the first person perspective, very stressful. Now that I'm an adult, I'm more okay with that. But yeah, I always prefer the 2D games, though. Those have left me emotionally scarred as well. So.
So, have you guys played Metroid 2?
Yes, I've played it on the, well, not the Game Boy. I had the original Game Boy cartridge, but played it on a Game Boy Advance. And
Okay.
I'm glad that it's getting a remaster because it's a Game Boy game. It's yeah. It's one of those things where you can definitely feel the system limitations affecting gameplay.
Yeah, I've never played the second one. I've played the first one. I've probably beaten that maybe 100 times, but for some reason I've never played the second one, so I'm glad I'll be able to experience it.
Yeah, same with me, Matt. And you, Eric?
As far as I go with Metroid, I came into it a lot later, so Prime was the big seller for me. And the whole environment and the immersion of being in that world, like that game was one of my favorites at the time. So I'm definitely super hyped for that. But that being said, I'm definitely going to buy both. Like, I haven't picked up my 3DS since I got tired of the online Pokemon tournaments for Sun and Moon, so I need something to make me get back into that too. Switch is just so tempting, you know?
I know. But as a 3DS game, it's probably a shorter development cycle, and we get this one in September, which is kind of amazing for a game to be announced at E3 for the first time and come out only 3 months later. So that's really exciting. It'll be a good way to keep us busy until, well, I was going to say until Metroid Prime 4, but no, Metroid Prime 4 should be a long ways off, actually.
That's going to be at least a year.
Yeah, who wants to take put their bets down now? I'm going to say 2019 at the earliest.
So Ryan,
Yeah.
I was texting Ryan about this. He thinks it's going to be holiday 2018.
That's what I was saying.
I think that's pretty generous. I agree with Glenn. I think it's going to be 2019.
I think they'll get it done by holiday. Just chiming in with Ryan. I think he's right.
Yeah.
Well, they might say 2018, holiday 2018. I could see them saying that and then having to push it back. Yeah. So
with a game like that for Nintendo's big blockbusters, like look at Breath of the Wild, that got pushed back how many times, and this is I would say is the hype is just as high for this game as it was for Breath of the Wild. Maybe, I don't know. I'm going out on a limb there, but I could see this getting pushed back.
Whoa, Dark Simeon, is that you?
No, it's just regular Simeon. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hear you loud and clear.
Okay, good.
Hey, man.
Talk about Nintendo.
Yes.
That's right. Nice of you to join. I thought you were busy, but what an awesome surprise.
I got to come home early, so good
So
news.
why don't you introduce yourself real quick? Talk about also your expectations for this year's E3 and how you're feeling about it now. Real quick shout out to MacTX. Thanks for watching.
Yes, I'm Simeon. Hello, everybody. My expectations coming into E3 this year, it wasn't that high because right now I don't own a Switch, and I know that was probably what they were going to focus on, not too much on the 3DS stuff. I'm kind of content with my library right now since I'm playing Smash Bros. For Wii U and also mooching off of Scott. So I didn't have too much as far as expectations, especially with the 25-minute runtime of their Direct. But I have been like completely blown away with the amount of content, and like I said during one of the shows, just the fact that they dropped the name of Metroid and that it's coming to the Switch, and not only that, but that we got footage of a Metroid game that's coming out later this year. That by itself completely blew all of my expectations out of the water, and I am completely content.
You make it sound like Nintendo invoked a sacred name and like performed a ritual that helped them win E3 this year.
Yes, I can't say that they did win E3 this year because I honestly don't know, nor do I necessarily care too much about what the other people are doing. Like I haven't heard like the internet explode over anything, and so just them dropping the name of Metroid and the fact that it's 2 games, one which is definitely far down the line, but just the fact that we have the hope that there's going to be a game has won E3 for me in my heart, because I don't care too much about the other ones. I don't know how they did it as far as the other ones went. Maybe you guys know more about how they went. I wouldn't go so far as to say Nintendo won just because I don't know how the other ones did.
Fair. Yeah, so I agree that Metroid Prime 4 is early, and we were speculating a little bit about the release date. I do think holiday 2018 would be the absolute earliest. We saw 2018 footage of gameplay like Kirby and Yoshi and stuff, but no Metroid. This is probably a situation where development is just getting underway. Curious, why do you guys think that they announced Metroid Prime 4 this year? Because they could have waited till next E3. Do you think that they felt that they needed that kind of boost?
I would say so. I think that's the biggest reason right there. I mean, they didn't have to show that. They didn't even give us a screenshot, but they obviously just all they had to do was put a 4 in the screen, and everyone went crazy. And that's like the biggest takeaway everyone has from the E3. So I think that's what they wanted to do, and I think that's exactly.
Here's what I'll say is I think probably, especially after Federation Force, they probably were a little thought, it may not be a good idea to just show a remake on an outdated handheld system.
Mm-hmm.
That may not go over so well. So we're going to announce Prime 4 first, and then we're going to announce the game that's more immediate, and that'll get everyone like super hyped up, and then they'll be more accepting of a remake.
So it could have been like preventative measure for backlash after what happened with Federation Force. Because people would have downvoted the video on YouTube, and they would have said, what are you doing on Switch?
Like, oh my gosh, we have 2.
Yeah.
Super excited.
I want to throw out too, Nintendo's done some drastic things this year. Like producing games for the mobile phone is something they always said they weren't going to do it, and now they're doing it. We got Mario, we got Magikarp Jump. I'm playing it. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm playing it, but I am. But I mean, I think they realize that, okay, we need to get market share. We need to appease the fans and give them what they want. And so, I mean, they're just basically pulling out all the stops today and this week. And I think that this is one of the huge things that everyone's been wanting for ages. So why not? Why not give the public what they want?
All right. Most of us probably have Metroid as our favorite or highlight. Some others might
I'm gonna
be
change rooms.
okay. Others it might be Super Mario Odyssey. Tell me, what's your guys' second favorite thing from the show, or your favorite besides Metroid?
Well, Super Mario Odyssey would be my favorite. So, do you want like just Super Mario Odyssey, or what ranks below the Metroid?
I do. I need you to tell me why I should be excited about Super Mario Odyssey, because I'm sure it'll be great, but it just looks kind of weird to me.
Because you can control a dinosaur. It's so cool.
Frog Mario's coming back.
Frog Mario.
Yeah, I remember when I saw that, I did the Groucho Marx thing, and it's like, I've heard of Frog Mario, but this is ridiculous.
Glenn, what did they show you this year, or this E3, that got you more excited for the game?
Well, that song. I mean, wow, talk about pulling out all the stops. I never thought a Mario game would have a theme song with lyrics. That's usually Brental Floss's thing. Yeah, and it's a catchy song too. But
it really
I'm a sucker
surprised me
for,
too.
yeah, I'm a sucker for jazz. But just
I'm gonna need more than that.
well, it's another thing is that it just looks very, very creative compared to previous Mario games, because Mario's kind of gotten into this sort of there's sort of the trappings of the brand, I guess, so to speak, where everything has to kind of be from a previous game. Insert sticker star joke here. And so this is really Mario's going into uncharted waters, and we're getting to see Mario back at where he's really his best. Like, you know, Super Mario 64. If you look at it compared to previous Mario games, it's weird. It's I think Matthew Toronto of Brawl in the Family once described it as sort of being like a dreamlike, in that, you know, just things don't always make sense. Super Mario Sunshine had a lot of visuals we hadn't seen before. I'm just glad to see that Nintendo is again taking risks with Mario.
And I agree with that. I think that we had Galaxy and people like Galaxy, and we had Galaxy 2, and for the moment, everybody liked Galaxy 2, and I think everybody was expecting Galaxy 3, and when we got something that wasn't Galaxy 3 and that wasn't an updated version of Super Mario 3D World, it's different from what they've been doing. I see this more of a sequel to Mario 64, kind of like Glenn said. Like it's more in that vein than even Galaxy. And I see the similarities to Galaxy 2, but the fact, first of all, that it's not in space, that it's not the gimmick isn't the gravity, it's these different places, different, you know, whether it's a city or it's Mexico or, you know, prehistoric times. I think that they were able to go in a lot more different directions that they normally wouldn't go in. And one of the things, and I pointed this out during one of the shows too, is they are not doing it all goofy. You see the place that's supposed to be Mexico, and that's kind of goofy. But you look at that dinosaur is not like Yoshi. It's not like the picture that comes to my mind is that dinosaur from Meet the Robinsons. It's
So
not
is
like
Yoshi
that.
not a dinosaur?
Well, is Mario a person? That's the question that we had to start asking.
Well, what defines a person?
Oh yeah, okay.
Somewhere
Anyway,
like your source.
putting all of those things aside, that dinosaur looks like something that is prehistoric. It doesn't look goofy.
Yeah, in the
full
trailer
of
when I saw the dinosaur, I was like, "Oh, this must be Monster Hunter." And then when
I
I
thought
saw
the same
Mario
thing.
come out, I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
I thought the exact same thing, and I was like, "Wait, this is too realistic even for Monster Hunter."
Yeah,
And that's when I realized, I'm like, "Whoa!"
I love the blending of graphic styles that they're putting together in this game. I think when you jumped in those portraits in Mario 64, they wanted you to feel a new world, but now they're taking it a step further. It's not just a new level. It's a graphical redesign. It's an entire new environment and something to experience. I don't know. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
In a way,
so much creativity, so much energy in this game.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, the world seems so diverse that it kind of feels like you could be playing an entirely different game, and that really excites me. And plus, I like the fact that they're kind of going back to Mario's roots with New Donk City and Pauline. Happy to see her
she's doing really well for herself.
Come back.
Yeah. And there are like girders everywhere, and it's pretty cool that there are 2D elements as well in the game, and it just seems like a really good blend. So,
yeah, and it's weird because Mario seems to be kind of obsessed with the past here of late, but not like the Donkey Kong stuff. It's usually the NES stuff. So we're really getting to see them pulling from a much broader, broader reference pool for Mario lore, I guess. It's weird saying lore after Mario.
If there's Mario lore, I'm sure there's going to be a Glenn blog about it someday.
I have considered it.
Okay, question for the panel. Did Nintendo sell you on anything this week? I mean that in, I guess, 3 ways. 1, there's an eShop sale on Wii U and 3DS games. 2, have you decided to buy a game that you weren't sure about before? Or 3, have you pre-ordered anything? So I have pre-ordered the 2 Metroid Amiibo, and I was sold on like the Samus Returns special edition. So that comes with the soundtrack and stuff. What about you guys? Oh, one more thing. I'm thinking about the sale. I might actually lift my boycott on Virtual Console games on 3DS and purchase Super Metroid on 3DS. Even though I own it on Wii U, I know I'd play it more if it was on my 3DS, and I think it might be good to like have that comparison, Super Metroid to playing the new Metroid on 3DS when it comes out.
Well, Nintendo, I haven't bought anything yet, but I saw that, I want to say on the Wii U, Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, that one, is on sale, and I recently finished playing through the second game on Steam. So I was like, oh, hey, this is a great opportunity to just, get the next one cheap.
Question.
Yeah?
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to ask a clarification question. Is there currently going on an eShop sale?
Yes.
Did they announce that during E3?
Not during the actual. I think it was like
To my
if you're
knowledge.
signed up for their newsletter or something.
Yeah, I think I saw it on Go Nintendo.
But like they did that, like there was no 4-headed notice, and they announced it during E3. I'm just talking about bingo here, guys, because we have boxes that need to be crossed off. I'm going for anything, any little technicality that I can fill in a switch.
When we said a game would go on sale during E3, we meant like
I said
forced
something.
sale.
I said something. I said something
discount.
would happen. Okay, fine. Anyway, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah,
Glenn.
also, while we're on the subject of the bingo card, I'm not sure the lapel pin should count because Reggie is always wearing a lapel pin.
Okay, but I can
It's a
confirm he
freebie.
had a branded undershirt as well.
Okay.
That
There we
works.
go.
Okay, I will accept that.
Whatever, we didn't get a bingo anyway unless Nintendo announces Stretchy Arms amiibo tomorrow, which is possible. There's going to be a big focus on arms tomorrow, so that'll
Okay,
be cool.
I'm
so
still
there's
holding
still
out.
stuff happening tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
Anybody else sold on anything or
Oh,
rushed
I'm
out
sorry,
to get a pre-order?
I got off topic. Let's see, Mario and Luigi, I'm probably going to get the re-release, and Metroid. Those are the those are the most immediate ones because I think that's August and September. Anyway, next person. Sorry about that.
Out of everything that they've revealed or shown us so far, it's all a little bit too far out for me to bite the bait yet. Like, okay, I bought the squishy amiibo. I need the squishy head Metroid amiibo. I need to touch it. I need that. Okay,
Yeah.
I literally
I think
just
it'd be like a good teether for your first child as well.
Thankfully, I don't have any. You guys can worry about that. But I was already sold on ARMS after the tests. I love Splatoon. I've always been sold. So the things that are coming out relatively soon, I'm already on board with. And just for me, I don't see the rush to pre-order right now for any of their other titles that they've talked about.
So Eric Flapjack just brings up a good point in the chat. The Mario Rabbids game. So that's something we've all known about. How do you guys feel about it now?
What's that release date?
Here's
August.
what I'm gonna say.
I think it's end of August.
I am currently at the point at which I don't have a Switch, and so as far as like being sold on anything, the only thing that they sold me on, as far as they're definitely going to take my money, is the Metroid 2 remake. But one thing that I didn't think they were going to be able to sell me on is this Rabbids game, and I saw the the leaked clips or whatever, and I thought that was ridiculous. I saw that and I'm like, that's stupid. The Rabbids need to go away. They're the video game equivalent to the Minions to me. And then they showed the footage of the gameplay, and it wasn't very much in the presentation. But I'm like, you know what? I do not play strategy games. And I've heard so many good things about XCOM, and I'm connecting these dots, and I know other people have too. And that is the one thing that they actually got me excited to play that I was nowhere even close to being excited to play. And I know that, the Rabbids, they're terrible, but this game to me looks interesting. That might just be me.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I really never got excited about the Rabbids, and then I saw the trailer. I'm going to need to see more information before I'm truly sold on it. But Grant Kirkhope is also the composer of the music. He did Banjo-Kazooie, he did ukulele. So the music is going to be really good too. And the strategy looks really cool, so I really want to give it a shot. Mario and Luigi Superstar Sega. I really like the original, so I'll probably replay that when it comes out. I don't think anything sold me as if I didn't really want to play it if I didn't really like Xenoblade Chronicles. I'm not a huge fan of the series, and I don't think I'll want to play that. It's just not my style. But what they did show, like the Rabbids, I mean, it was really good.
You must not like big swords, Matt.
I do in Smash Bros.
Yeah.
Lucky for you, there will probably be more Xenoblade and Fire Emblem characters in the next Smash Bros. What were you gonna say, Glenn?
Oh, the Rabbids game. I'm intrigued, but there's only so many hours in the day, so I think I'm probably going to pass just because I have to finish up grad school because that's taking longer than I expected it to, and I have a backlog that is increasing with every video Nintendo produces. I mean, I'm also they announced this before E3, but they're re-releasing Radiant Historia, which is a really good RPG for the DS. And it's going to have extra content and stuff, and it's like, oh gosh, I really would like to replay that game. I might just get the re-release of that. So, you know, I've got a ton of stuff on my plate as it is.
I'm just trying to
Also,
beat
right-
Tumbleseed before Arms comes out, but I might die before that happens.
Yeah, I had a really weird. Okay, this is totally off topic. I'm sorry. Like last night, I just had the strangest urge to go back and play Wii Sports Resort. I don't know why, but it was like 11 o'clock, and I'm just doing archery in the basement. I don't know why.
Sometimes those E3 memories hit you, and you got to go and play it.
It was a
I've
huge
had those
itch,
before.
and I had to scratch it right away.
It
Anyway,
was a really kind of touching moment with the Rabbids game when Miyamoto was at Ubisoft show, and he went up on stage, and then the camera cuts to the Ubisoft executive, and he's like crying because there he is collaborating with his hero. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, that reminds me. They
Simeon, don't
confirmed
laugh
that.
at him. You emotional man, you.
No, okay,
that-
yeah, I am. I cried during Nintendo's presentation. Anyway, that's not the point. Continue.
They confirmed that Beyond Good and Evil 2 is still in production. Did Ubisoft say anything about that coming to Switch? Because there's some rumors about that being a Switch exclusive.
I do not know.
No? Okay. Probably haven't
Like
said
your
anything.
guess is as good as ours. So let's move on to another topic here. Rocket League, Elder Scrolls, Skyrim. We excited for any third-party stuff? I neglected to mention FIFA, but there's that as well.
I'm glad that Nintendo's getting third-party support for
Yes.
once.
yeah, it looks cool
None
that they're
of those
incorporating
games-
Zelda into or like a Link outfit in Skyrim.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the outfit looks really good.
Most.
Wasn't it funny how they like really tried not to show the protagonist's face when they were doing
Yeah,
that footage?
yeah. And then
Well, if you've ever played Skyrim, you know why they're trying to keep you from seeing those faces.
and in Rocket League, you get Mario and Luigi hats, which I know it kind of seems like a gimmick, but and on the same token, it's kind of cool that they're doing that, and it looks pretty
Cross
fun.
network play, that's also
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
the thing that really stood out to me. So you don't have to worry about having a very small pool of players to play with. If you get the Switch, you can play with anyone that owns a copy of Rocket League on any system. Which, good on them. That's a good policy.
Yeah, and hopefully that's a sign of things to come too. Hopefully that'll intrigue other developers to do the same.
I do have a question, and I can look it up right now. But I know that, Scott, you said that there was a console that didn't support that, and you said that the PS4 didn't use that cross-network play. But I don't think that's the case. I was talking with my brother last night, and he said that it was the Xbox that didn't support that. Is there anybody with any facts on which other consoles do or do not support it? I'm just curious because
You gotta go to Snopes.
Eric Flapjack Ashley says that PS4 users do not have cross network, and from what I understand, Sony is kind of got a barricade on their network. So
Yeah, the PS4.
Yep.
And also apparently Beyond Good and Evil 2 currently it's confirmed for PlayStation 2, Xbox One, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360. That may be outdated, but it looks like that there's no word on Switch. So
I heard that Just Dance 2018 is coming to Wii, so that's great news.
Yay!
so bad.
That makes me want to dance.
know your audience, I guess. Casual people who still own a Wii.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just laughing, raking in the dough after everyone else abandoned the console like 7 years ago.
There's still a market there.
I bet you 50 million people still watch Netflix on Wii in standard definition.
Sure. Definitely.
All right. What else we got? Are you guys watching the tournaments and stuff?
I did. I
Wow.
did. I
Is
watched.
it hype?
I watched the Splatoon tournament, and I watched the part of the grand finals. I didn't know it was on, so I just barely caught the grand finals and the exhibition match after the grand finals of Pokken tournament,
Yeah.
and that was really cool. You see that?
Pokken Tournament was very hype. I
Yeah, it
really
was.
enjoyed that. I never bought Pokken Tournament ever, and I hardly played it. So now I think this is the time for me to do it when it comes out for the Switch.
For real.
And I just have to say, I think everybody might remember Reggie's like epic fail bus last year when he tried to play Hungry Box and Smash.
Yes, that was so bad.
I love that moment. That goes down in infamy. And I thought for sure, I'm like, oh, these Nintendo devs. Oh, what do they think? They're gonna get their butts kicked. But
Yeah,
no,
they're the champions.
they were so good. The Nintendo devs just mopped up the floor. It was really impressive.
It was like they had control the entire time, because you see the first match up against Matt Pat, who he's a gamer, but I think his partner was.
So that was Matt Pat, because I caught just a glimpse of it, and it's like, hey, that looks like the guy from Game Theory.
He was one of the champions along with his partner, but so he plays first against one of the devs, and he takes a match, which I'm like, okay, something's going on, and then the guy just comes back and creams him. And the same thing happened with the other guy. It's like they were like taking it easy on him so that they didn't feel bad, and then they totally just wrecked them. There was no contest.
That's great. You want to know that the devs love to play their own game.
Yeah.
They made it. I hope that they enjoy it. And just seeing that like really sealed the deal for me. That was my favorite moment of E3 so far.
So my question is, does that count as amateurs beating professionals in the tournament?
I specifically predicted that in the ARMS, because they announced they had already announced that before, like long before E3, and this Pokken tournament was kind of more of a surprise, and so I wouldn't count that because yeah, I think that was more of a deal. And I haven't seen the ARMS tournament. That was today, right? Is it going on like right now, or
I
has
think
it
it's
already
going live right now because I just went to Nintendo's site and it was.
I thought it was done.
Oh, is it done?
Wait, am I wrong?
We strategically scheduled this TBC Direct to happen right when Nintendo's live stream
Oh, it is done.
ended on
I was watching it
accident.
right before this.
We strategically planned that on accident. So, which one of you guys mentioned Mario and Luigi?
Me, probably.
Did.
I think Matt did.
Yeah, I said I'm gonna get it because I love that game, and I really like Partners in Time. I just like the whole series, so anything related to that series, I'll basically get.
That was the first game that made me forget to eat.
Yeah, the best thing out of the game is the humor. It was like I've never laughed out loud as much as I did when I first played
one of
that
the
game.
things I'm curious as a longtime fan is that it seems like the games recently have been less fun to me, and I'm not sure if that's the games themselves aren't as good, or my tastes have changed and I have less time or whatever, because I sit down and after like an hour and a half I get really antsy and I have to put it down and go do something else. And so I'm really want to try this to see how does the original hold up as a game.
I think the games have been getting worse. I think that they've been getting kind of easier, maybe less funny.
I want to say easier because Dream Team there were times where it was just plain cheap.
Yeah, maybe cheap, but like it's kind of over tutorialized. Like they'll tell you how to do everything over and over and over again.
I feel like that's definitely getting worse. There's definitely more of that.
I want to say it's been a while since I played it, but I want to say that Paper Jam actually let you skip most of the tutorials. It's sort of like they realize, oh, okay, people are complaining about this, but skip button. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this remake. It's cool that they're adding in a new mode, but I must say I prefer the old sprite artwork to this like kind of semi 2.5D look, which is a little bit muddy on the 3DS. I kind of preferred the more
the backgrounds
defined
especially.
pixels. Yeah.
Um,
But
yeah.
at least I've forgotten all the jokes from the original game, so I'll be able to experience the game again and laugh along.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it holds up with the 3D too.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is the backgrounds I think are all two-dimensional. So yeah, it's going to be really weird seeing how they handle that.
Now, just because I'm out of the loop here, is this like a remake? Or
Yeah,
is
it's a
this
remake of the first one.
Okay.
For the
All right.
Game Boy Advance.
Again,
Game Boy
sounds
Advance
like time
game.
for me to jump into the picture here because that's another one I missed out on. People seem to love it.
Yep.
So maybe they're aiming this for guys like me, Nintendo fans for a while, but missed out on some titles. Now we have a Switch. See what's out there.
Well, it's on 3DS.
Oh well. Good thing
Yeah,
I
but
have that too.
Good thing you have that too, Eric. Huh?
Yeah.
we're all gonna have to dust
So
off
Eric
3DSs.
Flapjack Ashley asks, speaking of 3DS, what do people think of these reveals being in the Treehouse and not any 3DS presence in the Spotlight event?
I didn't like that. I'm just gonna throw it out there. I wanted I don't know, with the treehouse just goes on for so long. It's really hard to get all that content. And
Yeah,
we're all working.
Honestly, I almost feel like it's disrespectful to the fans because you're kind of wasting their time, forcing them to sit and wait for this trickle of information instead of saying, here are the highlights. If you want more information, here's when we're going to be covering it.
Yeah.
And what do you guys feel about the Breath of the Wild DLC being announced in the Spotlight? Because when that came out, I mean, the Spotlight presentation was only half an hour, and they probably spent about 5 minutes on that, and that's something we already knew that was going to happen. Do you feel like that would be better in the Treehouse, or do you think that was appropriate?
Yeah, but they did say that the Spotlight was strictly Switch.
Yeah.
So all these great releases that are coming out for the Game Boy, I mean, they're like kind of hands off. But I guess I'm not a fan of that style because I don't want them to act like they're abandoning their handheld system. I guess.
I guess it might be interesting if they did a Switch Direct, 30 minutes, did some Treehouse, and then came back with like a second Direct, which was 3DS focused. However, they'd have to do it on the same day, I guess, because soon after Nintendo's announcements, the show floor opened up, and then they have the Switch and 3DS games for attendees to try. But yeah, it is hard to parse through the Treehouse streams, especially when it's all live while I'm at work, and then I come home and I have 8 hours of footage to catch up on. But maybe that's intentional from Nintendo,
From my experience, I did not get to see the Spotlight event live. I was actually out doing stuff with my family, so I came
planned
back.
your life poorly, in other words.
Maybe, but anyway, that I say that for another reason. But the so I had to go through like a bunch of videos and try to find which one was the Spotlight event. And so that kind of spoiled it for me because I saw the Metroid Prime 4 teaser and it's like, oh, they announced Metroid Prime. And, I wasn't super surprised. It's like, yeah, of course. But, still. But, yeah.
We could have sent you the link on Slack or something, so you didn't have to be spoiled. But I made fun of you for planning your life poorly, but I didn't get to watch it live either. So that's how it goes sometimes when it's at 9 a.m. on a Tuesday.
Yeah, that's another thing I want to ask. E3 has always been on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday before now, right?
No,
I always remember it early in the week.
Really? I could have sworn it was on over a weekend.
Because I think it's usually like Monday or Tuesday, I want to say, because I think it was Monday a couple of years.
Yeah, I just know that I remember Scott spoiling things when I was in school and he wasn't. He would spoil things for me on E3. He'd send me a text. Not that I was really mad, but he would text me while I was in school telling me what was happening. So
I was your informant.
Yeah, you were my informant. And I remember being in school and thinking it was a pain that E3 was during a weekday, and it is stupid. Why?
Well,
Comic-Con is over a weekend.
Honestly, it might move to weekends now that they're taking public in. But traditionally, it's been an industry event, and it kind of makes sense for those guys because it's during their work week.
Plus, it's a heck of a lot cheaper to rent out venues, like really large venues like that.
That's true.
It's the biggest video game event of the year. Come on, guys. We can splurge for the weekend.
I think next year we're going to have to send a representative or two. What do you guys think?
Okay, I heard this today, and I don't know if this is true, but I heard that there was open public tickets available this year.
Yeah.
Yes.
When do those get released? Usually, do you know?
It was in May, and there were 15,000.
I totally could have gone.
There were 15,000 tickets. It was like $150 if you bought it in the first day, and then from then on it was $250.
Okay.
So I'm kind of thinking ahead. By May 2018, our Patreon page could be in a pretty good spot. We can make something happen potentially.
I might have the week off like I did this year, so just saying.
Oh, so you're volunteering to cover it from home and post news stories on our website and stuff?
You better believe it.
Oh man, have we left anything out that anyone is
Eric Flapjack
burning
actually
inside to talk about?
had a question. I think it's a good question. Does anyone wish Nintendo would go back to live stage shows at E3?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that
was
mainly
fun.
Do you think because of the hype and just the atmosphere and just seeing Reggie on stage and just...
There's something about seeing Reggie on stage and having their whole bravado and everything. I'm just like, oh, Nintendo. It's like, I know they're a little bit corny and I love it. And it all comes off so well for them.
Yeah.
I miss it. I miss it a little bit. I'm nostalgic. Yeah. But these tournaments are kind of similar. So that's pretty good for me.
The tournaments are cool. I have a tougher time getting excited about the videos than the conferences, even though they can show the same things. And I think it's just, I don't know, I just think the atmosphere is really cool.
I agree with
go ahead.
both of you guys so far. Simeon?
I'm torn because I loved, for the most part, seeing the live shows. But then we look at this E3, and I mean, when you think in E3 past, when you're thinking of hype moments from E3, you think of the live stage moments. Miyamoto with the announcement of Twilight Princess coming out with the Hylian Shield and Master Sword. That is not paralleled by anything that's going to be in a digital video. But
yeah, Metroid Prime 4 would have been another one of those for the history books.
Yes, and it still has that moment, but it's not as hype. But on the other side, we have Sony's E3 2006 and Konami's terrible press conference and all those terrible press conference moments. And I almost think that those are more common. I think it's safer to do this direct thing because Nintendo's last live stage show was pretty terrible. And this E3, I'm not hearing anybody get excited about the other press conferences. I'm just not seeing it. I'm not hearing it. I don't know if maybe that's because I live under the Nintendo rock still. Maybe Dark Simeon will have more information on this. But I'm just not seeing that this year. And maybe that's just a sign that even though we thought Nintendo was behind the game for not doing this, maybe they're ahead of the game. Maybe they have thought this through enough to where this is exciting, and they still have. I think it was one of you guys said that the tournaments. I think that was Glenn that said the tournaments, having that live stage presence there. I think that is great. I think that might be enough. So I'm torn, but I'm almost more on the other side that the direct version might be better. And I might maybe do like the direct and then having these live tournaments, doing an announcement during one of those or something like that, doing a big announcement. I don't know. I think that might be a safer bet, but I don't know.
So, have you guys ever watched any footage from like Nintendo New York? Because after every Nintendo Direct, a story will go up on the Go Nintendo website where there's someone with like cell phone footage of Nintendo Direct, or sorry, Nintendo New York reactions, and they have a big crowd there that huddles around their giant TV, and they just go nuts, and they clap and scream pretty much at every pause in the announcements, at every opportunity. And I think that they could pull in some of that, like do Nintendo Direct style presentation, but show some crowd reactions from Nintendo New York, and do it live, and obviously just cut to the crowd when they're really clapping.
Or just put
yeah,
some fake
like,
claps
smart.
and some laugh tracks, and I mean,
Yeah,
that's what I miss.
Well,
I mean,
You
clearly
know, everyone
Nintendo.
went absolutely nuts when Metroid 4 was announced. Like,
Yeah,
I want to
yeah.
see that. I want to
know.
see that.
That's what's really missing. I know Nintendo's not doing it because of money reasons, because they're hosting all these multi-day tournaments and stuff.
oh no.
They're doing it so that it's goes off without a hitch and it's polished and all that. But yeah, I want to hear people screaming, because as a Nintendo fan, it's good to know that other people feel the way you feel from time to time, that you're not just crazy and obsessed.
I think
Right.
I think the internet's reaction is finally starting to scream Nintendo again. Like all these diehard Nintendo fans, we're all in our, I don't know, 20s, 30s now, something like that, and we're still here and we still love quality games. And the people that are giving us quality games on first platform system, like just first party stuff, it's Nintendo. And I think this E3 is one of the best Nintendo E3s in years. I mean, it's going to be the hype that's going to be all over the internet. I'm calling it. It's definitely going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have to say, Mac TX brought up an important point that I forgot to mention when I was talking about the snafus, is the Ravi drums episode. Yes. We cannot ignore that. I'm sorry that I missed that one. Thank you, Mac TX, for bringing that one up. I appreciate that.
So if anyone doesn't know what we're talking about, look it up after this. Just type in E3 Nintendo Robbie drums, and
Yes,
you'll see what we're talking about.
Two Button Crew has a video on our channel called Best and Worst E3 Memories, and that's definitely in there. You can watch the footage. So that's a good TBC episode, and now might not be a bad time to remind everyone that we're a daily video show channel. So if you're tuning in to watch our E3 reactions, we are uploading a lot more in depth on Super Mario Odyssey, on third-party games, and yesterday we put up a video, or today put up a video about Metroid Prime 4 and Samus Returns. And yeah, we're here every weekday on YouTube, so give us a subscribe if you are not already. Last words, anyone? I think, Eric, you summed up a lot of the sentiments very nicely there a minute ago.
I have one last word that's pretty big for me. We're all here, and you know what I want to do right now? I want to play Mario Kart. I want to play some Mario Kart. And I want to be able to play with you guys without having me join a game and then have you all join my game, and then someone gets disconnected and there's this big networking issue.
Well,
okay?
first we have to do our friend codes.
Wow,
So
yeah.
there's that.
I'm just
And
saying,
then
though,
we also might want to initiate a Skype call or just not hang this up so that we'll be able to talk.
but there is one thing I want to point out. Nintendo did not touch at all on their internet communication
Bingo.
and networking. And I loved Splatoon. It's amazing. But I couldn't get into it because I couldn't set up a competitive atmosphere where I could have a team and we could go versus other teams. And the networking was the major issue for Nintendo. And I think that's going to be the milestone. Like if Nintendo can pull off the networking when Splatoon comes out with teams and having competitive play online, I think they're going to be so well set. I mean, they got their mobile going. They've got cross-platform. They're saying they're going to have this for us. They have the best content available. They're just missing networking, and it's not. I don't know. I don't know why they're reluctant to do it, but I really hope that's what comes through. And that's the one thing E3 didn't give me that I really want to see.
I would
Real
add
bad.
virtual console
Very
to
bad.
that and echo
Yo.
everything that you said.
You can talk about virtual console, but that is very important too. Yes.
Glenn, last words? Final words before you die? No, just last words for this stream.
Oh, jeez.
Well, something we didn't really talk a whole lot about, like the Kirby or Yoshi, that much.
Guess they didn't leave an impression.
Well, actually, Yoshi left kind of a negative impression, and it's still work in progress, so they can fix this. But something I disliked is that it's clearly has the yarn texture from Yoshi's Woolly World placed on the model, but it's just a regular Yoshi model, and it looks really, really weird.
I think they said it was technically, so okay, so right from the lively art style looks like a miniature diorama, so that's what they're going for.
Well, and that's fine. You know, the environment art, and I'm not opposed to the game's concept or the environments all. It's just, you know, if you're going to use the yarn texture, use the model that was meant to look like a yarn stitched thing instead of taking a regular Yoshi model and slapping a texture that was never meant to be on it onto it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I wonder how much of it is just like recycling assets that they had in HD from Woolly World. Like, is the game really going to be yarn gameplay mechanics like Kirby and Yoshi have been in the past, or is it just kind of a way to get a game out quicker? We'll see. We'll need to see more gameplay.
Also, I did get to see some of the Salmon Run stuff, and we need to do like a Salmon Run live stream when Splatoon 2 comes out.
Let's do it. Totally.
Yeah.
I really like the single player and like cooperative campaign modes for Splatoon.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of fun. Matt, anything on your mind before we wrap up?
Not really. I was going to talk about Yoshi too. I just think the 2D. I think Nintendo is saturating that a little too much. I mean, I played Yoshi's Woolly World. I played Yoshi's Woolly World again on the 3DS because I really wanted the Poochie amiibo. And I don't know. It's just
no shame, man. I bought Robo for yeah. The amiibo was only $40, and it came with a free game.
There you go. And I mean, so between
you must have not had a Hastings going out of business in your town because it's been a lot cheaper.
And like Kirby, to me, the Kirby game looked really generic. Like it didn't look like it was doing anything special. And I just got off of playing Planet Robobot, and I just feel like they need to venture out a little bit. Nicer.
What I'll call the modern look, the Return to Dreamland look, and it's starting to wear a little thin. It looks a lot like, it kind of looks like a mix between 64 and Superstar, which I'm excited about because those are two of my favorite Kirby games. But yeah, I do think they need to, you know, and this is one of those things where it's, I don't think graphics really matter so much, you know, like how many polygons or, you know, how sophisticated your shaders are or whatever, but visual style goes a long way in a long-running franchise.
Yeah, Yeah, so I think Kirby and Yoshi might be going through a bit of an identity crisis right now, but
Yeah, like Mario and Legend of Zelda did this last decade. Yeah, it's pretty much a 10-year period.
Yeah, but I mean, for me, it was just such a good E3. I feel like those gripes just don't really.
Yeah, and those games are still in the works. You know, we don't have an official. We don't know if it's first quarter or if those are going to be holiday titles. So.
Yeah, but I do want to end on a positive note. I'm really looking forward to the future, and I think Nintendo is definitely going in the direction they needed to, and I think they're really providing to their fans more so than Microsoft and Sony at the moment.
I like what Eric just said in the chat. He was responding to what we were talking about, like with the crowd reactions and stuff like that. He said a lot of people were just screaming about Metroid Prime 4 that they kind of missed Yoshi and like didn't calm down until after the Yoshi footage was done. So yeah, I mean, Nintendo fell short in a few areas, but overall, this E3 I think is one to remember and one that we will look back on really fondly. Simeon, any thoughts?
Two last things. First of all, I don't think I said a special hello to Eric. Which I have not been on any sort of live thing with you or met you in person or all. So hello, Eric. And I think
nice to meet you.
maybe once. I think there was a direct that you were in that I started but couldn't finish.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yes. So hello to both of you, and once again, hello, Glenn, and hello, Scott.
It's very good. Spending some time talking with you.
Yeah.
Good.
Fun.
The last thing, because I do want to leave on a bad note, is that,
are you sure you're not Dark Simeon?
Get out of here, Dark Simeon.
Talk about identity crisis here.
Where's your nose ring?
The line between them is thin. I do want to leave on a bad note and say that FIFA and the Metroid remake look terrible, and that is all.
Like graphically?
Visually?
Yes, graphically. Not that I care that much, but I just think they look terrible. I just wanted to say that.
I don't know about FIFA, but we're talking about the Game Boy Metroid remake, right? Or no?
Yeah.
Metroid.
It's a Game Boy game. It looks fine. It's great.
It looks fine, but I don't know.
That is an original Game Boy game with polygonal graphics.
With the 3D polygons on the 3DS, unless it's stylized, I don't know. I've never liked it.
You know how hard those are to make on an 8-bit system, Simeon?
Hey, you know, I can appreciate that. I'm sure it was difficult. It was a difficult port to make, especially with
built it from the ground up to be.
Yeah. Fair. Oh yeah. I'm sure they did. But I just wanted to say that.
It's okay. I kind of feel the same way. I thought that the visuals is like, they're serviceable, but they don't really, they're not.
Yeah, not that it's gonna matter. Not that it's gonna matter, because it's not to me.
Yeah.
And 3DS games can tend to look a little bit better in person. If you turn 3DS on, it enables some more. Or sorry, 3D on, it enables some anti-aliasing. But I mean, you don't play the 3DS anyway, so.
Nope.
Well, and that is one of the things you do have to keep in mind is that you're seeing something that has like a 300 by some other 100 resolution. Like, we are not talking HD at all. So, and you're watching it on your big HD screen or tablet or whatever you have. So
yeah, 3DS
you get to see every imperfection.
That's true.
All right. That brings it to myself. I'm happy with this year's E3. Thank you, Nintendo, for Metroid, and thank you, Nintendo, for Metroid. So, Simeon, on our Metroid show on our channel,
yes.
you described it as giving us hope as Metroid fans, and that's definitely what I feel. So they missed, like Eric said, online. They didn't talk about Virtual Console, and that's continually concerning. And then the last thing I would really like as a cool bonus would be Smash Bros. For Switch, so that I could pack my Wii U up in a box and use it as a paperweight or something. But overall, super happy. Lots of games coming out. I actually went and made like a whole separate Google Calendar for Nintendo releases, which I've never done before. But there's just so many that I'm having trouble keeping track, and I'm really looking forward to the coming months leading up to holiday. So I'm feeling really good about it. Thanks everyone for watching. Sparkling Cyanide says this was great. Thanks crew for the stream. I'd like to see more of these. And if you,
Awesome.
I'd like to see more of these. We've been around for 2 years and only done 3 directs.
But if you like this, segueing into Patreon,
Yeah.
we are almost to our Patreon goal of $50, and when we get there, we will have a monthly podcast. So you can get this sort of discussion once a month. Just go to our Patreon. It's probably in the description, right? Scott,
Yeah,
did you
it is.
put it in the description?
It is. It's there. And Glenn, how did you read my mind? That was exactly the same segue that I was going to make. So thank you. Yeah, if you enjoyed this kind of longer form discussion with a panel of expert, insightful, and handsome Nintendo fans, you can hear our voices regularly once we reach the Patreon goal. And really just 1 or 2 more patrons is going to push us over the edge to drop that podcast. We have the first episode already recorded. And you get a bunch of other bonuses for being a patron, like exclusive videos and bloopers of every single time that Simeon messes up on a show. So that's great. And that's all for us, guys. Happy E3 week. And we will see you later.
Signing out.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.